our weekly communications meeting. We started a new system this sprint of where we're going to be working through the forums and with Zoom. So that's definitely a new thing that we're doing. It's I would say it's going well. So that's kind of one of our big changes that we've done for this sprint. I would definitely recommend that everybody please start communicating on the forums, especially about campaign materials. So anything that is about communications, about justice, about these are the kind of things we definitely want. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So in case you do not know how to get to it, you go to unitedandfierce.com, you go to forum, which is right here. And once you get to the forum, it has all of this cool stuff here. We have an internal mutual aid here. We have a general discussion, announcements, questions and answers, economy. Pretty much everything we've got in the Discord is here. So are there any questions about the forum or about Zoom? Story, I see your hand raised.
I have a question about the forum. Can there be a place for art, media, merch, ideas, discussion? Because I don't really see where that would go.
So those discussions should be happening at the meetings. So if you have something you'd like to discuss, what I would suggest is sending a message to Tyler, an email or a message or however, and having him add it into the description for the meeting.
I can access the meeting descriptions and edit my own ones. And I will do that. But as far as a place to collect them just on the drive, then
yeah, just any place that you're collecting them, you would put them in a drive, or if it's somebody who's asking you to make something, so then you would email that directly to the person. But the drive would be a good place for that.
Okay, so what's gonna end up happening is we're just gonna have long discussions on the Discord or in private chats because we a place to do it outside the meeting, 1 hour a week. We've got so much to cover. We're gonna be making between Liz and me, we're gonna be making a lot of graphics, infographics.
Yeah, so you can have that discussion in the drive. So if you put it in the drive, you can actually make comments in there on things that you post. So I would suggest having those discussions in there rather than on the Discord.
It sounds really inefficient, but I will try.
I mean, so we're trying that so this is just this sprint and it's new and we have to do trial and error. So this is kind of what we're trying for this sprint. And if it's not working, then we can try something different. But the only way to find out if it works or not is to give it a shot first.
Is there a reason that we don't want a forum channel?
Because we wanted that to happen in the drive and in the meetings.
But I can't delete things in the drive. So I'm just going to be sharing 30 work in progress of the same thing and tweaking it a little, and then
Liz can delete things in the drive. So we can work with the people who have it and there we can add people who can delete stuff and organize stuff. But we wanted to try this to see how it'll work before we move to a different system. We have to try it for 2 weeks and then talk about it at the sprint and then make decisions. Jared, you have your hand
up? Yeah. So, Story, you were worried about having multiple copies of your working file, if I understood correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if you're making revisions and you upload the same file with the same name, it should override, and there's a version tracking of the same file.
It can't do that.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't let you.
They're images.
What?
No, I think it'll only create another. It'll force change the name to parentheses 2, and it'll just make another copy because it would have to delete the old version and it's different than updating a Word document. I mean, I guess actually, now that I'm saying that words out loud, we can make a Word document and put our works in progress in the Word document. We can edit that pretty easily. So maybe that's the solution.
If you aren't able to replace your file, we need to talk to whomever controls the drive, because you should be able to just upload the same file with the same, or sorry, not the same file, but a file with the same name, and Drive is fully capable of treating that as a version and just updating it and replacing it.
Not if you can't delete.
No, like Drive should handle it on its own. Like it's capable. I'm not saying our instance is set up that way, but it's capable of doing that. So we may want to
Right.
talk to whoever controls the policy side of Drive. So
So that would just be Jasmine's. You can just send
so
Jasmine a message.
that sounds like a user story. I know what I'm asking, so I'll submit that after the meeting.
Okay. Story. One thing that I'd like you to do with this sprint is, I know that you've got that. There's a lot of reservations from a lot of people. It's a totally new system, so keep an eye on that and see if it's working. And if it's not working, then let me know. We can build out the form more. We can build out the form less. It's like we have to. It's like trying it out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't.
One thing that will help it work a little smoother already is better descriptions of what each thing is for. So, like, for example, people are still using the Discord to share like news articles, and I think that's fine. But is that fine? Like, should we be posting news articles in the appropriate forum channel? Okay,
yeah. So that's something I'm going to be going into the Discord this week, before Saturday comes, and I'm going to be giving the 7-day warning, and then 7 days, which should be like by the time we get to the new sprint, or a little bit before then, all of those channels will be deleted. So the Discord is going to be a social space.
Sorry about that sound.
Jared, do you have your hand raised?
I do, yeah. So the only other question I have is typically Google Workspace, I think is what the current title is, G Suite Workspace, whatever it is, has access to like a work chat feature, or we are not using that currently? Is that correct?
We definitely could.
Okay, because that could be an alternative to what Story's concern is, because I think it is now tied to documents where you can have a chat around a document. So that's something we should also look into.
Yeah, and you can also, like, I would definitely recommend also sending, like, if you're working with Liz on images, then you can send that image to Liz in an email and kind of go back and forth that way. And the workspace chat thing, and there's also like Google Chat as well. So it's something to play around with and think about. Story, you took yourself off of mute. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
No, sorry. It glitches sometimes, so I unmute when I hear my name in case I need to respond, and then can't unmute.
Fair enough. No worries. So just I guess I would just like recommend for everybody just kind of play around the forum. I know it's totally new, but I think it'll be a really great way for us to start getting stuff in there, you know. And Story, I'll say another thing. If there's an image, so like let's say we're making an economy image, right? We can post that in like underneath the economy forum, so it can be like available. It's just broken down by topics instead of like specific forms. Do you know what I mean? Worth a try. We're still working on building it out. I'm taking suggestions. I'm looking at everything. It's a new system. I know.
I've been going to the forum first for everything that wasn't like a one-on-one message that could have been a DM or an email. And I've been going to email for anything that felt like official. And then I usually still have to go to Discord and message the person and say, I sent you an email, or can you look at the forum? Because most people aren't doing it yet. And that's not a criticism, it's just an observation.
I think it's something we have to build out, and we have to, like, once there's not a place to put it on the Discord anymore, I think it might be easier. So It's just that the forum is going to make it a lot easier once we start getting tons and tons of people. So it's a try. We're trying it out. We're seeing how it goes, and I don't know. I'm excited. Um, but I'm gonna kind of move past that because I don't want to spend the whole meeting on it. So if you have any follow up questions about the forum, about how we're doing it, about any of that, please feel free to send me an email or send me a message or make an appointment on my Calendly. Yeah. So I believe the next topic that we wanted to talk about has to do with Tyler and the videos. Tyler, you said you wanted to talk about that at this meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. I'll give you the floor to talk then.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about specifically the confessional videos and sort of like how I'm thinking that we can turn that into something that, is giving our patrons, it's kind of their money worth whenever they're subscribing or, going to Patreon and all that. So, like I just heard previously about the confessionals kind of being like sort of the Office talking head vibes. I kind of wanted to roll with that and just basically making it like maybe 10 to 12 minutes, maybe sticking more to 10, so that it's more watchable. But making that just kind of compiling the confessionals together in a way that kind of makes a story about what's going on with the campaign, whatever the people's confessional is talking about, kind of getting to the root and what's going on there, or even, including like longer ones in case we want to do, like, I know that the vibes were kind of lighthearted, ranging from lighthearted all the way to, whatever someone's feeling that day, if it's heavy or whatever. Right, yeah, so compiling multiple confessionals into one video and kind of just putting them together and releasing them every couple of weeks, just so that it's a more digestible way of seeing, how the campaign is going and what's going on, how we're feeling about it, and our day-to-day stuff for the patrons. And I was thinking, just brainstorming the name, I like The Office. That's running for office. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. Get your guys' thoughts on that.
Perfect. Story, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. For video length, I would recommend shorter than 10 minutes. If you're going to be cutting them up anyway, like I know some of the confessionals might be a few minutes each anyway, but if you're going to be like taking chunks of them and putting them together in a way that tells a narrative, I would personally suggest shooting for more like 6 minutes. But I think with any piece of art, make it as long as or as short as it needs to be, to be that narrative. Because that narrative feels an awesome idea. But if some are 3.5 minutes and some are 11 minutes, like I don't personally have a problem with that. I don't know how other people feel, but I think that we don't need like a formulaic approach. I think we need a genuine approach, and whatever length it needs to be, make it that. Don't try to make it boom. But if you're gonna try to make it anything, I would go for between like 5 and 7 minutes. That's just my vote.
Probably 10 would be the upper limit, and then anything longer than 5 minutes is good enough for, like I said, every couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then a slight tweak on your name idea, just to throw this into the ring of options, is running for, and then in parentheses, the.
Oh, okay.
Just a thought.
Because I was thinking I don't want to really get into any issues with saying The Office. That's running for office, so that might work better.
Running for the office. Yeah, like that, Emma. What Emma posted in chat.
Okay.
I like that, but I kind of want to not brand yourself fully in The Office. So what I'm thinking, if maybe Tyler, would you be able to put together a few of these so that we can kind of watch them as a group and get the feel for them, and then kind of think about the name? Because
Okay.
I'm also a little nervous about putting the office in there. And I'd also like
Yeah.
to change our pacing. Instead of a couple of weeks, I'd like it one a week.
On a week. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that
And-
kind of segues like we do kind of need to get more, at least more raw footage just to work with. I was thinking, I don't know what the presence other than Jasmine is going to be at the South Dakota Pride festivals, but I think that would be a good opportunity to just snap a few like
We're
maybe
gonna have
5 or 6
a
over
whole-
the couple days.
Keep your eyes out. We're gonna be putting together a whole meeting planning that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I want to be in on that. You know.
So yeah, we definitely want to. We're gonna be getting a lot of good content during that. But we also have to start setting up a system for confessionals to where people are doing them. I mean, really, you should be doing your daily stand up every day. And I, speaking personally, I know how hard it is. No, even I don't do it every day. I set up the comment thing in the forum every day, but sometimes I struggle to do it. So I totally understand, not doing it every day. But something that a grow for like all of us communications wide is do our daily stand up and we do our confessional every single day that we work.
And our meditation.
And the yes. Meditation, daily stand up, confessional every day you work. That's my goal for I would say the next like sprint / the next like month is getting everybody in the habit of doing those. Jared, you have your hand raised.
I was just going to say, if we're worried about getting stuck into a rut with The Office or running for The Office, have we considered about making them series of types or styles? So the first series could be running for quote unquote The Office or parentheses, and the next one could be like Dashboard Confessional style, and like we could pick different like Diaries of a what was the HBO special? Crap. With the girl from Doctor Who. She played Rose. I can't think of the name of the show. It wasn't on. That probably wasn't HBO. Anyway, different confessional series where they have different stylistic like choices. So like one is like that sitting in a room in front of a blank wall. One's literally in like your back seat with the camera where you can kind of see the seat in front of you, and like we could pick out different styles. We'll probably run out at some point, but we could try those and see how they work before we come up with a Diary of a Call Girl. Yes, Travis, thank you. But
So
you know,
the only shows that I know of that follow kind of that style is obviously The Office, Modern Family, and then
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec. Yeah.
Reno 911 does that
I was
same
gonna say
thing.
Reno, but that's like outside of our kind of price budget. But that one is a good example too of kind of making it.
Drama Island. Yeah, there's a lot of different formats that do this.
and
So I think.
Oh.
No, Jared, go.
all I was gonna say is we don't have to like, and we don't even have to do them as a literal series. They could just be like maybe a theme for a couple of them in a row. Like, a couple of weeks we'll do, running for The Office, and the next one is, hey, it's Dashboard Confessionals, and then we'll jump to almost like a Survivor, right? Because Survivor had stuff like that. Like it could be all. You could do well, maybe not Naked and Afraid. I don't know if everybody would be comfortable doing something close to that, but it could be fun.
Jasmine would love that.
But like there could be a lot of fun themes for them.
We could parody it. Marketing note: this is a great idea. We gotta make sure it's clearly parody, because parody is covered under free speech a lot more easily than non-parody.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
And I think the running for The Office would imply that it's parody. Like
Liz said, fully clothed and still terrified. I love it. I think there's a lot of opportunity with this, Tyler. Yeah. What I really want you to do with these thoughts and these ideas is like run with it.
Okay.
And then don't be afraid to be vocal in telling staff. Like post in the forum and be like, staff, get your professionals in. Like.
Okay. So yeah, this will probably be like if we want to go with like you said, like a pilot sort of thing, make 2 or 3 of different flavors, then I'd say this is probably going to be like a next month kind of user story, just so that we can get different professionals in and I can actually have something to work with. But I can definitely get started on that as soon as we have enough.
That's good. Can all right. Keep me updated on your progress. The sooner, the better.
Yeah.
But
I think if we're going to get a lot of stuff from the Pride, then that's going to definitely speed up. What is it, June 16th to the 18th or something?
yeah, no, yes, yeah, yes, it is. That will help a lot. And we're gonna have a planning meeting, so make sure you come to that. It's gonna be sometime this week or early next week.
Okay.
Sorry, you have your hand raised.
I was muted. Okay. I am wondering. First question: are we just dropping these confessionals into the confessional recording on the shared drive folder?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second question, or second not question. It's a suggestion. It's something I've been doing. Every time something interesting happens, I said you should make a confessional about that. Every time, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. They probably don't, but I've been trying to encourage that in my language. Whenever there's a moment, that would make a good one. And just reminding people that that's like on the table. Eventually, it'll be in their heads and stick over.
Agreed. That's a great strategy.
I think also if you have like a crazy day or something that like starts early and then unfolds, if you can tell the whole story, that kind of thing too. Over.
Would you be willing to write this into like a how-to confessional, like little bullet point list? Doesn't have to be extensive. Question mark. Tyler.
Yeah, I can do that. Over.
That would be great. I love how you said question mark story. That's awesome.
I have a very monotone sometimes, and it doesn't, help.
I would also say if you're ever sitting at home and you're thinking to yourself, this would make a really interesting TikTok video, but I really don't want to make a TikTok video. Don't make a TikTok video, make a confessional instead. So I've had so many moments where that, yeah. Anyway,
Also, just one last thing. If you do have the means of like you have a newer like iPhone or something with an okay to pretty alright camera, don't be afraid to just to driving through landscape or take a quick picture, because it's a lot more helpful to have like media like that isn't like licensed or registered. And if you have an okay enough camera, just record it. You can drop it in immediately, and then if you want to delete it off your phone, so you don't really take up space with junk stuff. But that's just my 2 cents. Not required as required as the confessionals.
put that in the document.
Yeah, I'll do it at the very end.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else to add about confessionals? Tyler. Something that I am hoping that you might be able to work with Liz and maybe even Trav. I don't know how to call Trav, but we need to hopefully start getting our meetings up on YouTube. I think I spoke to you about this already. I'm not sure if I did.
I'm sorry. Can you? What's the topic of it?
Our meetings on YouTube.
Oh yeah, cutting them up.
Yes. Have I spoken to you about that?
Just kind of briefly, and then kind of the overarching stuff we need to get out of the drive. I figured we needed to get to those interviews. It was like 15, or what was the preferred time you said? 20?
I think it has to be under 15 minutes or we can't post it to YouTube. But I think we were saying somewhere between like 6 to 10. But I would think it might be a little different for meetings because they're going to be in like parts. So we'll need to upload the video in chunks of like, I think we should do 15 minutes. Just do 15 minutes until we've got the whole meeting, and it'll make it a smaller series. Then when we put them up on YouTube, we when we put them up on YouTube, we can say communications meeting date part 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Liz said, yes, we do need to get those up. We need people to chop them into smaller chunks. Looking at Tyler, also like caringly looking at Tyler. Going forward, I need y'all to upload videos with date, time, meeting, topic. So yes, that is a good note. Please make sure that you're putting that on there. We need to make sure we're organizing. Yeah, so I think we're good on that kind of topics. How are we feeling? Cool, good. But one thing to note, I'm not gonna. I don't think we should discuss this. There's actually nothing to discuss. We had our newsletter meeting last week, and the newsletter, unfortunately, we just don't have the ability to put one out. So we're scrapping the newsletter and focusing on other things that are more important. So moving along from that, Trav, I wanted to touch base with you on interviews.
Yes.
And Jared, something I wanted you to jump in on is, so we've got interviews that we're trying to get for Jasmine. But so essentially with Jasmine, what we're doing, the strategy we're going with is we're just trying to get some, like, whoever to interview, whether it's Republican, whether it's Democrat. We just want people to interview Jasmine. So we've got a team which consists of Trav and Deb. They are our outreach team. They are amazing. I'm very excited for it. So I wanted to first off check in with Trav to see how the list is coming and if we could possibly send some out tomorrow, and then check in with Jared to see what Jared is thinking as far as his media outreach needs. But before we do that, Story put their hand up. So we're going to hear from Story, then Trav, then Jared, then probably back to Trav.
Question about outreach. Are we going strictly off the surrogate document? Should I drop any outreach ideas in there, or should I reach out directly to them for any reason?
So the surrogate document is different from what we're doing with Trav, in that the stuff that we're doing with Trav and Deb for that kind of outreach is to like media outlets. We're not necessarily asking them to work with us. We want them to interview us. I mean, don't get me wrong. If John Oliver comes up and is like, "Damn, you're a unicorn party. You're great. I want to do a story on you. Let's make some videos." I'll be like, "You know what, John Oliver? I'm okay with that. Also, your voice suits me." And that's what I would like. That's the message I would have for John Oliver, which is totally fine. But for our surrogates, it's a little bit different because they're actually like possibly helping us like create content and this kind of stuff. So maybe keeping those two documents should be separate because it's a little bit more of a formal process. What we're doing with Deb and Trav, and what you're doing is more of like informally reaching out as like a story. No, I meant that separate, not user story. I meant user period story.
Thank you for that distinction. That is very clear now. I will message Deb or Trav about it, but I know for a fact my boring little local county paper would interview Jasmine. Like they would. They got nothing else to talk about, and they love like indie politicians. They really do. So
We'll take
That'd be
anything.
great.
Especially about like whether it's Jasmine or whether it's Unicorn Party or whatever it is, that would be great. And then we're gonna move to Trav. Travis, tell us what you got.
All right. I shared in the chat the
Media outreach context doc. Trav, you're whole muted.
unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So the request for interview section, is basically the ones that I found emails for, or that I'm trying to find emails for. It's a little bit of a mess, but it makes sense to me.
That's the important part.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I found Alex Jones's email, so that's fun. But yeah. So this is like the collection.
I mean,
don't.
that's the big one, right? That's
Yeah.
one of the big ones we want to get on. We like
Yeah.
that's part of what we're doing is we really want people to be able to like we want Republicans to try it, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's a good way. So, yeah, if anyone can think of any more, like potential people that could be added, let me know, because I try to like sometimes do Google searches for like big, like top progressive or top conservative talk shows or like celebrities or like media individuals or whatever.
Yes, that will be a whole different thing that I want to keep on the same. That's a good point, Liz. Liz says, "Oh, I started a list of presidential candidates. There's over 200, so we can get their contact info for debates with Jasmine." That's also something, Trav, that I'd like your team to be.
Okay. I found at least for Charlie Kirk, you can call in on the radio. I've not listened to his program yet, and I don't know how that would work, but conceivably, like Jasmine could call in and talk to Charlie Kirk, who's a conservative that I don't know much about.
Okay. Can you put the contact information in here and we'll see?
Yeah, it is. Charlie Kirk, he's in conservative shows.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I would say that's something that we have to prepare for. Because we don't want to go in there and call in and nonsense happen. So I think that this is also something we're gonna have to start thinking about, like logistically, what this is gonna look like.
Yeah. At least for info, Alex Jones is a podcast I've listened to a lot that dissects his show. So at least that one wouldn't be too bad. But most of the others I don't know anything about.
I'll have to take a look at it. If we get anything back from somebody, I'll have to do a deep dive into what we're gonna do with that. I'm gonna do Jared and then Story.
Okay.
Story, I promise you're on the list.
Super quick, just making sure that all this information we're broadcasting is public information that we found.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's public.
Yeah. So
some of them look like personal info, so like.
No.
Okay, just
To
making
be
sure.
clear, we cannot send emails to anybody legally without their consent.
Yeah.
So that's like something we are legally sending emails to. When we send out like mass emails or things like that, we do it legally and above board. All of these emails we got off the internet.
Okay.
So if you can find somebody's email on a public website, you can email them.
Okay.
But in all of our emails, we also allow everybody to unsubscribe. So if they do not like receiving emails, then they can unsubscribe. And if they don't unsubscribe, then it tells you you want more. And I'll give you more. I'll give it to you all you want. Get ready, Tucker Carlson. We're coming. We are coming for you. Story.
So the newspaper I mentioned is already in this document on the press tab. It is the Berkshire Eagle. Definitely contact them. They will interview her, and I'm going to be canvassing this area. So if they've already heard her name from the newspaper, or if I can show them a copy of our local newspaper with an interview, they will be that much more likely to be like, oh, this is legit.
Story, since you have a personal connection with them, would you be able to work with Trav to maybe send an email from your account or
They don't know me.
something?
They don't know me personally, but I read it. I know what they publish.
We'll definitely reach out. Jared, I want to give you the opportunity to speak about your media contact needs and what we should be implementing within the structure we already have to kind of help you with your contacts as well.
After we have our next meeting, I would love to start broadcasting the change in campaign trajectory. I think is the best way to phrase that. I took the task of building up the Alabama media list. I'm working on that. I have yet to start it, but it is on my list of things to do this week. So I will get that up. In specifics, the big thing is trying to reach out to some of the more open news outlets, because some of them seem to be intentionally ignoring me, which is, you know, whatever. The thing everybody did for like a month for me, or like a month ago, of every day voting on the thing. I was not on that finalist list, and people that weren't in the drop down were. So, you know, whatever. They're a newspaper, but they, you know, evidently they have some bias that they don't like to admit publicly. So that's okay. They can deal with that with karma. It's fine. But yeah, so trying to find some more media outlets that are willing to communicate. I've got a radio station that I need to reach out to, so that's probably my next thing, is getting in touch with them, because the hosts are rather conservative, but they have no problem talking to and picking on either side of the, you know, the traditional sides of, you know, Democrat and Republican, including friends of the show. Like they've got friends who are running for office or in office, and they will call them out on their show. So I think that's probably a great place for us to start, for me, in our state, for a public statement.
Okay, good.
How do I need to get that to you? Is that another user story that's just like, hey, let's reach out to so and so?
No, send. Well, yes, put it in the user story, but also send it to Travis in an email.
Okay.
Jared, quick question that has nothing to do with communications. Speaking of your new strategy, have you worked with Tyler to get a meeting on the books?
I emailed Tyler and asked him to get that started. Yes.
Okay, good. He's a little bit busy, so if he doesn't reply by tomorrow, can you follow up with him?
I sure will.
Perfect. And then I was wondering, once we have that on the books, would you be able to make a Calendly meeting with me, or I can do it with you, just for you and I to have a conversation about like what the scope is, so we can kind of prep for the meeting, and I know what's going on going in.
Yes, 100%. I will do that as soon as I have the reply from Tyler.
Jared, you are Peach. You were not in our social media meeting, which is fine. I'm not calling you out, but I'm calling you out. But that being said, if you need social media help, you need to reach out to Liz tomorrow. Liz is doing her thing tonight. Their thing. Excuse me. I apologize. So I would definitely reach out to Liz, and please make sure that you email them with kind of needs you have, so that we can discuss it at your meeting, so Liz can be prepared for that meeting as well.
You cut out slightly. Give them what information? Sorry.
The social media needs that you have, so your current platforms, where you'd like to see that go, that kind of stuff, so that Liz can be prepared and have a plan for when we have your candidate meeting.
Okay.
Story?
Another note for Jared that's kind of on communications. I'm working on Wikipedia pages. Yours is on the list. A thing you'll need to do, if you haven't done it yet, is verify as many social media accounts as you can. We can talk about how, if you need help, but Instagram and LinkedIn are the easiest ones. I won't waste too much time on that. That's just on your to-do list over the next couple weeks. It's not, I'm writing it still, so there's time, but it's on the list and it's coming up.
Yeah, good thing to note that Story is the resource for that. So going to Story for that would be good.
Quick question, because it's kind of related. Does it have to be social media, or can it be like other places where a candidate is listed for being?
I need both.
Okay, because I found
we can hash it out, but if you have a list of like every, whatever, not doesn't have to be every, if there's a lot, if it's extensive, but like at least 10, like, or as many, as close to that as you can get, of
citations,
interviews, anything that we can link to substantiate who you are and what you've done inside and outside of the campaign.
I do, because we're in a communications meeting. I don't remember who I sent this to, but somebody posted it in the Discord, and it's ActiveVote, I think is the name of the website and app. They are very responsive. Like I had I had mine put up within a day, so that worked really well.
Nice.
Cool. So we're looking good on that. Let me know how you're looking tomorrow as far as getting those out. Let me think through. What am I missing? Good question. Let me look at my thing. I mean, I would say as far as communications go, we're looking pretty on track. Just I would definitely recommend anybody who is interested in coming to and learning about the analytics, please come to the analytics meetings. We have them every Saturday. They are extremely informative, and you can also learn about how to perform your own analytics. It's a weird kind of format. Everybody kind of throws their analytics up, and I just kind of stare at it and try to figure it out. So I would love for anybody to show up to that. Let me open up this and see what else we're covering. Message guide, story bank, calendar, media list, style guide. I think we kind of, one more additional thing, and this is something I'll do here as well. Moderators and commenters on TikTok, Facebook, and I guess Instagram isn't nearly as needed. But definitely TikTok, Facebook, and TikTok. Mostly TikTok. And we're also looking at possibly a Reddit page down the line, but we don't have the ability to do that now. We need somebody who is a seasoned Redditor, and we'll have to have a team of mods for that. So that's something that we are looking into. Also through the LinkedIn, we are looking to get in and post some jobs specifically for interns who might be like looking for experience. So that's something that we'll be going through. So if you can think of any needs as far as like somebody we could bring in as an intern, obviously hoping to move into paid as quick as possible, please feel free to send those through to myself or Liz. Jared and then Story. Not Jared and Story in the email. Jared and then Story speaking. I apologize.
I would love some help brainstorming some ideas before the meeting ends. So, Story, go first, because I assume you have something that's pertinent to the actual meeting.
I was just saying that we do have a new person coming on who's going to be a TikTok mod, and Instagram. We might not need mods there, but I just want to highlight that like it is important only because it's one of the easiest ones to get verified, and it's going to help us get that Wikipedia page over.
Jared, do you still have your Twitter?
I do, yes.
Okay. Something to inform you of. I'm not sure if you've heard, but Jasmine and the Unicorn Party, and it's our platform that we don't support Twitter anymore. So we have deactivated all of the Unicorn Party and Jasmine Sherman's Twitter accounts.
That's in response to the Musk scenario?
Yes, and him allowing Trump back online.
Gotcha.
On Twitter.
Okay.
Additionally, it's a system that we don't need and we have never needed. Twitter has never been necessary. And I say that that's my personal opinion, but we also voted on it within the social media meeting, and we decided not to continue that. So I wanted to make you aware it is your campaign you're running, but the party does not. The party has deactivated their Twitter.
Okay.
So.
Are you like essentially deleting, or are you just not logging in with a post that's like "F you, Elon Musk"?
Deactivated.
Gotcha.
We
Okay.
have deactivated. We are not on at all. And
Gotcha.
It's like it's effective because Elon Musk doesn't want it anymore. But you know what? That's not really our problem. That's Elon Musk's problem. So I think it's important to continue to stand strong and hold our message.
Okay. So well, you've already voted on it. My only concern would be whether or not the names are now available for other people to take. So that would be my only potential concern. But
I mean, it's totally up to you how you handle it. I wanted to make
Yeah.
it aware that you story.
I believe there's a way, and this might not be like the unicorn way, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to just hide, like make your account invisible and basically effectively deactivate it so they can't search for it, but not take, like it still holds your username so they can't take it.
You know what? There probably is a way to do that. But that being said, I mean, we can bring it up at the next social media meeting. But what we voted on today was to keep it deactivated. So can you bring that up at the next social media meeting? I personally, if somebody takes the username and starts posting on Twitter, and they come to us and they say, "Why did you post this?" We can be like, "That's not us. We're not on Twitter." So that's our shelter from that, is that it's the Unicorn Party's policy that we are not on Twitter. So it doesn't matter what gets posted there because it's not us.
Right.
Okay.
But something to think about.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is 9:54, so we have 6 minutes left. I think Jared had one more thing he'd like to.
Yeah, so it's related to the shift in focus, but I knew we had a communications meeting, so I wanted to at least bring it up if we had time. So we have a couple minutes. So the big thing for me right now, and it's big for any small campaign, meaning not Democrat and Republican, is donations and contributions, right? So I am literally competing against one candidate who has gotten $2 million from a single donor, and that's not all of their donations. Like our incumbent has received over $2 million from a single donor this election cycle. So I need help writing scripts for that, trying to get people to donate to me since Ivy has enough funding. Anyway, I know it's not a lot of time for us to write a script. I'll put in a user story, but if anybody has any ideas, I would take them now.
Can you message me? Because I can absolutely write at least a couple up this weekend. I have a little bit of capacity left.
Sweet.
Right. So there's also a content creation meeting. So put those in there. But my question for you, Jared, is so your donations are going to your bank account. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can we talk about this at your
We can. Yep.
I think there's a lot more we have to dig into there and kind of figure out what the breakdown is and what, because with the Unicorn Party right now, we're pushing the Patreon to get donations in. So okay. I think there's a larger discussion that needs to be had there that we can't really have in 5 minutes.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good.
But definitely add that to the content creation meeting so we can get that content created.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts before we head out?
Nope.
Don't forget to do your meditation, everybody.
That is true. Drink some water. Make it professional. Post your daily stand-up. Yeah. And I hope everybody has a really good night. And I am going to end it. Thank you all.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.